Widening the scope on the implementation of mediation as applied in several other countries like USA, China, and Middle East can help to overcome the civil case backlog in Uganda courts. The Executive Director, African Women in Arbitration, Edith Tunamasiko, said arbitration is an effective means of solving disputes that could arise a big percentage of cases backlog in the country. This was during the African Women in Arbitration Symposium for practitioners working across Africa, held in Kampala.
My name is Edith Tunamasiko. I'm the founder and executive director of African Women in Arbitration, which seeks to empower and promote women in arbitration across the region. So we are here today for the African Women in Arbitration Symposium, where we seek to disrupt the status quo. For a long time now, arbitrators have been known to be pale, male, and still. Women are underrepresented in the field. So African Women in Arbitration as an organization seeks to improve the representation of women in arbitration across the region, as well as also representation of Africans as arbitrators.
The conference was aimed at coming out with resolutions to address the social and legal barriers that affect participation of African women in arbitration.
So one of the challenges we face is to train as an arbitrator is very expensive. The courses are expensive. And also, after training, you need to network with people for you to be placed on panels. And most of these events are always outside the country. Even if they're inside the country, they are quite costly. So for a young arbitrator to afford such conferences or occasions, it could be a bit challenging. So I think with the profession being costly for a young professional, that's one of the major challenges, because how do you rise up to the ladder of a senior professional? You have to invest much, and we know most of these young professionals don't have these finances to invest in themselves. So that would be a major challenge for young professionals and arbitrators in this country. And hopefully we shall have recommendations and call to action and see how better we can improve the landscape in relation to women representation in this field.
So in a nutshell, women are at a disadvantage. They could have benefited from institutional appointments, but even then, because of the lack of experience, party autonomy dictates that more often than not, parties are more likely to appoint a male arbitrator over a female. So because of that, they operate from a very disadvantaged position.
My experience will be slightly different. Actually, I have encountered a lot of support from the men. When I joined the tribunal in 2014, the tribunal consisted of 5 people, and I was a chairperson, and the 4 were men, and they were incredible men. I had a lot of support. So through the 6 years that I did the tribunal, first I want to say this, sometimes as women, if you enter with this thing that I am a woman, and whatever I say, if my colleagues object, they're probably doing so because I'm a woman, then you have a challenge. But if you enter your work as a professional, competent and qualified, you talk to your colleagues as professionals. And so for me, throughout, I never actually ever had that thought even once that in case there's disagreement, and we had a lot of disagreements in the tribunal, especially when we were handling cases, I knew that they're disagreeing with me because of this and not because I'm a woman. And fast forward to the arbitration space, I was actually mentored. I was introduced to arbitration by a man.
The General Secretary, National Union of Laws, Judicial Officers and Allied Workers, Penina Tukamwesiga, said effective participation of African women in arbitration shall influence and positively impact on dispute resolutions in the country.
Penina Tukamwesiga, I'm the General Secretary of the National Union of Lawyers, Judicial Officers and Allied Workers. It is a union that organizes lawyers and judicial officers and all workers who work with the lawyers or in courts, law firms, institutions. Our main mandate is to make sure that workers access justice And one of the ways, we partner with African Women in Arbitration, which is having its symposium today in regard to arbitration. So in our mandate and in our work as a union, we ensure that workers access justice through court or through other alternative dispute resolutions. And the alternative dispute resolutions, it includes arbitration and mediation. So why we are here today is to learn more about arbitration, because it's a learning process, and also to network with other arbitrators who can assist the union and also in our struggle to assist workers out there in terms of arbitration.
The workers' rights activists observe that arbitration can improve the effective and timely handling of disputed cases involving unfavorable labor conditions or discriminatory employment practices in Uganda.
Because it's very clear, we have courts in place, but the system, there's a lot of backlog of case law in cases in courts. So when we have arbitrators on board, and if we are able to deliver justice and also to assist our workers through arbitration and mediation, it helps a lot in that backlog of cases at industrial court. So when you look at our statistics as a union and also as a legal aid of COFTU, most of our cases have been successful because of arbitration and mediation. We have been able to close cases through alternative dispute resolution, because we know the challenges that face with a court process takes so long. So that's why we are so passionate about partnering with institutions like African Women in Arbitration, because from this they are able to facilitate us. We are able to facilitate our workers better by helping them settle their cases through arbitration and mediation. So that's why we are partnering with them. We have partnered with other institutions, but today we are here to support our sister organization in order to ensure that there is access to justice through arbitration.
National Union of Laws, Judicial Officers, and Allied Workers promote workers' rights with focus on employment discrimination, unfair wages, workers' compensation, pensions, and workplace safety, among others.
A message to workers out there, first of all, the Union for Lawyers, the National Union of Lawyers, Judicial Officers, and Allied Workers is a union for every worker out there. Whether you're in a different union, whether you're not even unionized, you are able to approach us, and we have a team of lawyers, passionate and committed lawyers, to assist us, assist all the workers across the country to access justice in any of the labor issues they may face. Arbitration and mediation, those are alternative dispute resolutions mechanisms that workers out there don't know about. But as a union, we are so passionate about that because you have seen results coming out, cases being settled through arbitration and mediation. So as much as the court system is there, we have our industrial court, which is doing its level best to give justice, to make decisions in the labor cases. Still, these other alternative methods, the arbitration and mediation, are very, very critical and very important to reduce the number of labor cases that are prevailing at the moment. Because generally, because of the employment levels being low, you realize people stay in a workplace not because they want to stay there, but because they are earning a living, but also the labor issues surrounding the workplace are not good, and most times they are unfairly terminated, mistreated, they are harassed. So many issues that come up through in employment in Uganda. So once we have this team, like today we are partnered with African Women in Arbitration, we are here to support them, they have been our partners. We have a team of many lawyers, different teams that we are partnering with as a union. Once workers get to know that actually we can assist them through arbitration and mediation, it is much easier and simpler and more efficient than following the normal court process.
Audio Jungle.